Guys, welcome back. I've got another CGC sub that I get in on Friday that I'm just going to try and run through, hopefully, and try and run through it pretty quick if I can. The grades in this submission are nowhere near as good as what I got in my last one, but to be fair, I don't think I pre-graded them quite as hard. And then there's some of the cards are like kind of, you're going back to maybe like 2005, 2006 period, so obviously with a bit of age they've got yeah, not the condition has been affected by it. So first card I got, this was one I've submitted quite a few of these in a bulk submission because I just like the artwork on it. I want to try and get like a 9.5 or even a 10. To be honest, I'll probably cross grade it to PSA whenever they open. I'll try and get one that's the kind of pre-graded, the best condition, and cross grade it for a PSA 10 hopefully. But kind of same story with these Japanese cards, tend to get good surface corners and edges. Subgrades, it's always the centre that lets it down. I still just think, looking at that, I don't quite agree that it's an 8.5 in centre. It's not. I know there's a little bit between the left and the right border, but it's not huge. And then, as the point I made last time, I don't think they count the top border as part of the centre, because I've seen ones that have had perfect 10s, and the 10 obviously for centre, and the top border's been way out. But yeah, the centre they're really harsh on. So anyway, I like that card. I got one of these. I've submitted two of these. I actually got them a good couple of months ago. So I'm probably going to be keeping this one just because I like the artwork on it. And the next one that I got is a bit of a lower grade, so I'm going to just chuck that up for auction on my eBay at some point. Let's see. Got one of these as well. I'm still hunting. For some reason I cannot get a 9.5 in this, so I'm still looking for a 9.5 in the Red Challenge card from Tag All Stars. I got a 9.5 in that one, but again I've already got one, so that one will be getting sold. Got a 9.5 in this as well. 10 for centering is you don't really see it with Japanese cards too much. As I said, it's always the thing that lets them down, the centering. Just realised I've put that in the 9 pile. Get the Red Challenge from Double Blaze. Again, you look at it like that one there, so the 10 for centering, you look at the difference between a 10 and a 9. It's really not a lot. Really difficult to tell. Personally, I think that, yeah, you can see it more on the right hand side of this card, that it's the centers came down, but yeah, it's probably the thing that I have most difficulty with pre-grading cards is the centre. It's one of the things that I'm probably going to have to put a little bit more attention on to try and make sure I get good grades for it. This is a card that I'm going to keep as well. This one, I've submitted a heap of these that I'm probably going to try and cross grade to PSA at some point as well. So I'm happy I get one of them in a 9.5. And then I've got this Brock's Grit from Tag Bolt. So I'm trying to think what pile I'll move on to next. I think it's this one. I've got some good cards in here, but I'm going to try and save the better stuff for the end to try and talk about it more. I've got the Misty's Favour from Miracle Twin. Artwork on this card is really nice, but again, look at that, it's 8.5 centre. Yeah, I know it's off, but so the right and left border are quite a bit thicker than the bottom. But that's the thing, if you get that down at an 8.5, it can muck your grade up totally. Difficult, really difficult. This one gets some good subgrades, apart from the centre, and again, it was the centre that let it down. I think I've mucked up my 9 pile, anyway, doesn't matter. So I've got two of these. I got an 8.5 and one. I don't know what the 8 surface is from. I'm guessing it's probably a good couple of print lines, if anything, because that's what it tends to get hit by. And then I got another one in a 9.5. Strong subgrades, it's a quad 9.5. So this is another card that I'm going to be keeping as well. I actually forgot I had submitted them, to be honest. I've got a Kanazawa Pikachu, so I think the last sub that I've done I got a 9.5. So I'll probably keep the 9.5 and sell the 9. Or maybe even sell the 9.5, I don't know. I'm kind of starting to think stuff that's easy to replace, I should just sell it while the prices are low, so I don't know, I've not decided. At the time that I made this sub, I actually submitted quite a few of these Dream League Pikachus. I think there might even be one more there, because I was hoping to get a 10 in one, just because I like the artwork on it, and obviously I got a 10 and a 10 in the last sub, so yeah, don't really need these cards. Pretty good subgrades for the couple of 9s that I've got. But yeah, I don't know why I'm doing that. We don't need the 9s or the 9.5s. That one's got pretty good subgrades as well. So I think what I'm probably going to do to try and shift some of them is just to try and auction them. So here this is us maybe starting to get into some of the better cards. Some of the prize cards that I had bought from the Legend Promos series. So this one got brought down on Surface, so it got brought down to an 8.5. To be honest, I've not really been able to see. I had a quick look over. There's one card that I've looked at in a lot more detail, but I've not really been able to see where the surface came down, because to be honest, I remember the surface on these being pretty good. This is all like the way they ship their cards back now. It's in like cardboard, so you get a lot of cardboard stuck on the sleeve. But yeah, I honestly cannot really see anything on that at all. I'm looking at it off the camera side, at least not on the front. Yeah, it's really difficult. Like this, a lot of people will look at that card and discard it as an 8.5, but from my experience, some of the don't get me wrong, some of the 8.5s I've had, you can see like the edge wear and stuff, but this card like this that I've got, I don't know. I think there's maybe, yeah, that's probably what it is here. Just on this, I don't know if you can really see it. A little bit difficult with the light. You can just see it just between the light there. So just along that top border, there's a couple of little like pinholes. Yeah, you can just see it there. I think that's probably what's brought it down. But again, it's a really nice looking card. So yeah, that's another Dream League Pikachu. This is a card that I'm really happy with the grade on that. So again, this is probably one that I'm going to cross grade to PSA whenever they open back up. So I'm still hunting for the other two. I need to start searching for them soon when I get a little bit of cash in from selling some of these subs off. But yeah, really strong grade on that one. So only lost half a grade for centering, which yeah, is kind of out with my control surface and edges. So I'm not too sure where the half grades came from. I'm guessing it's probably maybe they've scored that half mark up here. But nonetheless, really nice card. So that one I'm definitely going to be keeping. This is another one that I thought was quite harsh. So this is the Copycat, which is a battle winner prize, again from the Legend promo series. So this one got an 8 on surface, an 8 in corners, and an 8.5 on edges. Again, I've had a look at this card, and on the front side, I can't really see anything. It's most of the stuff you'll see is just like these bits of cardboard that are stuck to the slab. But condition wise, like for an 8, it's crazy. And on the back side, there's this big scratch here, but that's on the slab. And to be honest, it's really difficult to see where the I'm guessing that's where it is. Yeah, it will be. So I can't really see it from looking at it, but the light just catches that just this scratch just right down the text there. If you can see it a little bit better there. So it goes, it's actually pretty big. It runs from like, I don't really know if I can get it to catch, but it runs kind of from like the start of the O here, pretty much all the way down to like touching the gold border. So yeah, it's quite a significant sized scratch on the card. I think there's another one just under the Pokeball. Just see it there as well. Pretty difficult to see. And apart from that, I can't really see anything else. So yeah, that's brought it down to an 8 on the surface. So it's got an 8 on the corners and an 8.5 on the edges as well. And maybe another little nick just on the edge there, if you can see it. It's so small. And then I'm sure there'll be something on the corners as well that's causing it. You can see a little bit of whitening, particularly on that one there. So yeah, it is what it is. That's what they've graded it. Meaning, in comparison to some other cards I've had back, it does seem a little bit harsh, but I can understand it. So it's yeah. So I've got 3 of these Coro Mews that I've submitted. So I got this one in a 7.5. Can't remember if this is the one with the, yeah, you can see some scratches just next to the tail. These ones show up scratches really easily. Yeah, so there's some scratching next to the tail. Apart from that, I don't think there was too much. There might have been some stuff on the back as well. Not that I can see quickly, but again, I'm not too concerned about the grade on these. There's another scratch just up this side of the border. So you can see in this case, so this got an 8.5 for centering. You can see the centering on that, how what the centering's like. So you can see it's far thicker on the left and the top than it is on the right and the bottom. So can't argue with the centering grade on that one. But yeah, still a nice looking card. So we got a 7.5 in one. We've got a 7.5 again, so this one get hit even harder on the surface, so you can see the scratches that come down the full size of the hole, the full kind of surface of the hole there. So yeah, that one, you can see the difference just between that and see the difference between two 7.5s. Personally, I know what one I would rather have. Wouldn't be this one. I just think this, yeah, I don't know. I've got my kind of things that I would prioritise when I'm looking at a card. Yeah, I just think side by side that's a worse 7.5, if you can really say that. But obviously it's scored much better on the corners and the edges, so there's not been any whitening or anything, which is good. Centering on that card's nice as well. And then the next one I got back was an 8.5, which is really good. So again, it lost 1.5 marks on centering, which you can't really control. Now you can see the surface on that is, maybe apart from one really light scratch right under the tail, you can see it there. Just catch it in the light. So yeah, it's got a really light scratch there, which has brought the surface down. There can't have been too much else apart from that, to be honest, because it's yeah, an 8.5 subgrade, and this kind of card is pretty strong. The back on it, pretty perfect, to be honest. I'm struggling to see any little scratches. Maybe a little bit of edge wear there. So it got a 8.5 on edges, I'm guessing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show that to you or not. But there's a little bit of edge wear somewhere around here. Was it here? I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, this one I'm going to be keeping that in my collection. I got, so 3 of these victory medals. So we've got the bronze, the silver, they kind of gradually go up in grade as well. 7.5, 8 and 8.5. So these ones get hammered on corners, edges and surface. So we'll look at the bronze one first. So centering on them's good. Don't think it'll be much, if anything, on the front. Again, it always tends to be the back. So what have we got? So there's a scratch there, but it's on the slab. So the front looks okay. So what we're looking at, corners and edges being the worst. So yeah, you can see so like along the top border there's quite a lot of little white nicks that they're obviously just racking up. The corner itself, you can see quite a lot of white in there. And same down that edge as well, you can see, just when you put your finger against it, you can see all the whitening coming across here, into here. Then get some more whitening there. So yeah, can't really complain about that too much. It's fair on the corners and the edges. Struggling to see where the 8 on the surface is coming through. Might be a scratch that's on the back. Yeah, there's a scratch just on the M here. I don't know if you can kind of just see it there. So there's one there. Can't really see it anywhere else, to be honest. So again, not too concerned. I wasn't expecting really high grades on these. I would have thought a little bit higher than a 7.5, but I think at the time I wasn't pre-grading them that hard. So, and to be honest, I would have graded it regardless. So this one, it got docked on edges, corners and surface. So edges and surface being the hardest. Front of the card looks okay. Yeah, so you can see again, same kind of thing, just like some little white nicks there, some there. At corners, kind of, yeah, when you look at that one, it's not terrible. Just trying to shine some light off it just to see if there's like a little nick that I've maybe missed, like a little mini dent or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, so that one's got an 8, and then we got an 8.5 in the gold as well. So at 8.5, it's probably just a couple of little minor things that I've added up that they've then docked. You can see there's some whitening going on down in this corner, whitening along this side, on that corner and along this side. So yeah, it's probably fair, to be honest. This is the kind of card that I think would have a pretty good shot at cross grading to PSA and getting something like a 9, which would maybe boost the value of it a little bit if you're looking at reselling it. But it's a little bit difficult just now, obviously, with the tiers that are open at PSA. So yeah, I've actually got a couple of cards that I'm wanting to try and crack and resubmit to PSA just when they open up their next tier down. So this is the one that's been hit the harshest for me. So this one, if you look at this, I'll take you through the card because I've actually found where it's been docked on all 3. So if you look at the card from the front, to be honest, it's pretty close to perfect on the front. The only minor thing on the front is there's this little black ink dot there on the surface, which I'm guessing they've probably docked half a point or something for. But if you look at the front, look at the corners, it looks really good. It's clean. Hollow, there's nothing on the hollow at all, no scratching. Pretty perfect hollow. The edges, again, are the same. You look at it on the front, you can see it again here. And then, yeah. So looking at the card on the front, looks really good. So the damage is all on the back. So this one, the edge wear is worse. So you can see how bad the edge wear is along the right hand side. There's not any disputing that. You can see it on the corners as well, so there's some whitening. See some along that top left edge, along that edge as well, you can see some. So the edges are pretty beat up. So where it then gets docked the hardest, so it's got an 8 on surface, and where it comes down to the 7 on edges, is right along. So there you go, you can see it. It's pretty difficult to catch on camera. Just that little micro dent that's right on the corner and the edge. So you can see it there. So something that tiny can really hurt your grade. Again, if I'm looking at that card, there's cards that I've got that are like 8s or 8.5s that the edge wear is worse. That if you were to look at it like aesthetically, personally, I think it's worse. I think this card is better off than, it looks better in hand than some of the other cards that I've got at maybe 8s or 8.5s. So, but yeah, I mean, you can't argue with it. If you go by CGC's grading scale, and if you start to kind of dock things like that and then add it on to like all the edge wear down that side and the corners and whatever, probably a fair grade. It just feels a little bit harsh because, yeah, when you compare it to some 8s or 8.5s, it's a better card overall. So I think I'm going to crack this one and submit it to PSA and see what comes back. If I can get maybe even an 8 in PSA, I would be quite happy, just for that extra half mark. The 7.5 just makes me feel a little bit uneasy. So yeah, I'm probably going to wait another 2 weeks and see if PSA open up their next tier down, their $150 tier, and I will submit it under that. Yeah, I just think it's too nice a card to be a 7.5, to be honest. I know it sounds really silly because I'm acknowledging the damage is there, but like stuff like that is just so minor. It's so minor. Like, I've been speaking about this with a couple of friends, and they've been able to show me cards that they've got that are like PSA 10s with that kind of thing on it. I know the whitening, yeah, I know the whitening and whatever else is there. It's never got a shot at a PSA 10 because the whitening's pretty bad. Like, if you look at it, it's a bit easier to see with my finger behind, but you can see how maybe half that edge is all white. The corner's got it. Top's not so bad. It's got some. That side's got it. So yeah, it is there. It's not terrible. It's not really bad, but it's definitely there. But yeah, if I could get an 8 on it, I'd probably be happy with that. So that's probably what the plan is with that card, is just to crack it and resubmit it. I'm lucky that I bought it before the price increase on that card as well. So I think at the time I paid maybe, I think I looked at it the other day, it was about £800, and I think it's probably jumped up raw by about 50%. So yeah, it's not too much of a concern. And then the last card I got is this Torchic from Team Rocket Returns. So I now only need the Mudkip, and then I've completed the gold stars from that set, and I can start moving on to the EX era. The EX cards. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to build a full reverse holo set, plus the EX plus the gold stars. So I think the reverse holos have only maybe got about 6 or 7 cards left to fill. So I need to try and get my finger out and start picking them up. But anyway, this card got an 8. So I get this card pretty cheap on eBay, and it was because, I'm guessing it was because the card was curved quite bad. But all I really had to do was stick it in a card saver and then under a really heavy book. So I'm happy with the grade on it. I got an 8. Again, personally speaking, if I'm looking at that card next to this, You look at like the amount of scuffs on the hollow, it's difficult to see, but there's a, you can see the amount of little scuffs on the hollow for that one. You can see them down here, you can see them there. It's a lot easier to see off camera. These cards have always got this kind of silvering on the edge, which I don't think CGC dock too much. I can show you examples of why, because I've got a couple of cards that are sitting next to me that are from a friend that I submitted for her as well. But you can see like the amount of silvering, which to me, I would count it. I know they kind of look at it as like a manufacturing defect in a sense, but I don't quite agree that a card with the kind of edges has got an 8.5. But anyway, I'm not going to get into a thing about it. But so yeah, it then get docked. You can see like the whitening along here as well. Not terrible, but it's there. But yeah, overall, a pretty clean card. Quite hard to find them in good condition, so I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, that one will be getting kept as well. So yeah, as I was saying, there's the reason I don't think they dock it, I've got 3 of these cards that are a friend's card. So she got really good scores on all 3 of these. She got 10 edges, but I think it was the Vaporeon that was the worst one for it. Like you can just see here where it kind of, the cut has, it's probably just been like a dull cutting blade or something, but you can see it there, like just where the light catches it. Yeah, I think there's certain cards that they don't really score it that harshly, and I think it's just because it was a problem. Like you can again see it at the bottom here, it was just a problem that happened just with the whole print run. That I think it's just purely down to the cutting blades not being that sharp. So they don't tend to detract from it because it exists on everything. It's just the standard. But yeah, so she gets some really nice grades on her card. But yeah, so that's everything. So yeah, as I said, I'll think about trying to resubmit this one. If I do it, I'll do a bit of a comparison video and see what grade it gets as well. But yeah, I don't know yet. I still need to decide. I'm also a little bit nervous about cracking a slab that's got like a £1,200 or £1,300 card inside it, just in case it gets damaged. Although I've seen how easily people can do it, so I'm going to give it a try. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the returns. That's probably me done with returns for a couple of months. So yeah, I've just sent off a submission at the tail end of last week, but again, you're talking another maybe 3-4 months before that comes back. I've got a bulk submission that's currently unscheduled for grading, but it is full of absolutely trash cards. It was pretty much stuff that was free, and the bulk tier at the time was so cheap that I just thought I would go for it. But I don't know if it'll really be worth doing a video on. Yeah, they're all like £5, £10 or $10 cards, if that. They're really cheap cards. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll have some more videos for you soon. Cheers.